The battle of power between two generals resulted in a civil war, which resulted in the victory of General Lang while General Hatch was defeated. Hatch's location is unknown to everyone, while many of his followers are in jail for their rebellion. In one of these political prisons, on a mining colony, Kai Cortland is one of the prisoners. One day, while working with other prisoners, there is sudden chaos when a prisoner attacks one of the soldiers. At first, soldiers use a crusher's pit to drag the prisoners there. Kai is also being dragged by his chain toward the crusher pit, but luckily he knows how to operate the machine. His first attempt fails when he is dragged away by the chain tied to his ankle. Kai doesn't give up, and in desperation to get away, he amputates his own foot to get rid of the chain and rushes back to shut down the machine, saving himself and many other prisoners, but he passes out due to the blood loss. When Kai wakes up again, he finds himself in a little compartment on the ship, with Hatch standing in front of him. Kai is trying to comprehend the situation as he looks at the prosthesis on his leg when General Hatch approaches him and uses a machine to get rid of the iron clip on his mouth. When he is able to speak again, Hatch informs him of the reason they brought him here, saying that if they want to win this war, they need information for that. Hatch explains that the information is on a spaceship that is leaving tomorrow, so they want Kai to go there because he is an accomplished pilot and has flown that ship before. To get Kai on board with their plan, Hatch uses his father, an important figure in the rebellion against Lang. He tells Kai that his father will be executed on Liberation Day in several months, and if Kai agrees to work with them, he can save his father. Kai remembered his father's paranoid condition when he last visited him, so when Hatch assures him that they will save his father together after the mission, he agrees to hijack the scientific spaceship. On the spaceship Arrowhead, Kai wakes from suspended animation early and hacks into the ship's database while simultaneously talking to Hatch. Kai is worried when he gets the message that the system will become vulnerable if he proceeds, but Hatch assures him that it is just temporary and that he will be finished with the data transfer and everything will go back to normal. After successfully copying all the data, Kai is trying to send it to Hatch when a dangerous enemy flares up, preventing him from sending the data across and also damaging the ship. Kai loses his connection with Hatch as the ship's system starts to slowly turn off and detach all the sleeping pods. Kai escapes in a shuttle and lands on a deserted moon, near the escape pods. He rushes out of the shuttle when he calms down a little but has to rush back in due to the lack of oxygen. When he comes back inside, the ship's AI, Reef, warns him about the toxic environment, saying that prolonged exposure might cause death or paralysis. When Kai tries to ask other questions to the AI so he can find a solution, it refuses to answer him without a proper login. Kai ignores Reef's warning and instead decides to explore the place. He goes out wearing an oxygen mask and finds the dead body of Arrowhead's security chief, Norman Oleander. When he is looking at the dead body, he sees movement in the nearby pod and rushes to rescue the female passenger. He quickly gives the woman his mask and brings her back on the ship. After reviving her on the shuttle, he finds that she is a biologist named Taryn, and they use her identity to log into the system. Taryn tries to ask the system about her ship but can't get an answer, so Kai says that if she wants to look for her shuttle, they have to go to some high place because this planet is huge. When they go out to look for her ship, Taryn tells him that this is the moon, not a planet. She also tells him about the research pod they deployed there earlier, which is now completely destroyed due to the toxic environment. When they finally spot the ship, Kai gives his gun to Taryn so she can use it when needed. When Taryn refuses to accept, he says that they both know he can't be on that ship, so it is better if she takes it. Taryn finally takes the gun, but she figures that he is working for Hatch and tries to talk about how Hatch is involved in terrorist attacks, but Kai dismisses her, saying that it is all just propaganda. When he goes to walk away, Taryn tries to convince him to go with her, offering that she will get him a fair trial, but he refuses, saying that no one will get that. Kai comes back on the shuttle. He tries to start the engine, but Reef refuses to accept the command and informs him that Taryn doesn't have that much access. Kai has no other option now that the shuttle won't start, so he rejoins Taryn and informs her that he is coming with her. She points to his clothes, saying that if he wears the same clothes to the ship, they will immediately shoot him. Kai listens to her this time as he switches his clothes and they both dart along. They are still far away from the ship when they hear it start. Their attempts to get the attention of others by shouting have failed, and as Taryn rushes to the ship, Kai is dragged into a cave by some hostile insectoid. Kai is apparently killed by the creature, and while trying to rescue him, Taryn misses her ship. She comes back into the shuttle, where she sits for some time listening to the information Reef provides him. After some time, she goes out and finds Kai's body beside an obelisk. She brings him back to the shuttle, where they find that his wounds have been completely healed, including his foot. When he wakes up again, he confesses that he feels better than before. Taryn tells him that he was gone for 4 days, which relieves him as he still has time to save his father. Karen is confused by his enthusiasm because she thinks that there is no way they can escape from here now, but Kai is positive as he tells her that they are not the only ones here. Later, they go out again to the obelisk, and Kai uses an axe to break it. They found Norman's body inside and brought him back to the shuttle, where Kai rewired the AI to his wrist link as they logged into the system using Norman's ID while he was still outside the shuttle. They leave Norman there and go back inside, where Kai asks the Reef for Liberation Day and is happy to find that they have more than enough days to go back. While sitting together there, Taryn says to him that she recognizes him as her father's guard and talks about how his personality has completely changed. She uses this information to try to convince him to take Norman back with them, but he refuses, saying that he would lose his father, who is the last person he cares about, if he did that. Outside the shuttle, Norman suddenly wakes up again and becomes hostile, shouting about how someone is getting closer and will come after her. Norman suddenly takes out a gun, and even though Kai jumps quickly to stop him, he still manages to shoot, killing Taryn in the process. Kai also gets shot, and after killing Norman, he passes out due to his own wounds. When Kai wakes up again, he presumes that Taryn is dead, and after looking around for a while, he goes back inside the shuttle, where Reef tells him that he was gone for 39 days. Kai is disappointed when he finds out that the engine has failed due to being left running for many days. He was also worried about the number of days he had lost, so he spent the next few weeks there trying to fix the ship and roaming the moon. He found the footsteps of some creature on one of his tours but didn't encounter anything. During one of these days, he starts to get excruciating pain in his body, which confuses him at first because he won't know the cause, but later he finds that the symbiote that healed him also causes him to transform into the insectoid creature during periods of intense fear and pain. Kai is growing more and more agitated with the time and is heartbroken when he finds that he missed the Liberation Day. 3 years pass like that, and Kai spends this time bonding with Reef, learning to control his transformation, and surviving on the moon. During this time, Kai's hideout is repeatedly attacked by an insectoid. One day, when he is locked out of the shuttle, Reef says that he has a theory about his health, saying that he believes that the insectoid is being reborn by Norman's cells and that Kai shares the same condition with him. Reef says that Norman's transformation seems permanent and that he can help Kai overcome his condition if he gets some tissues from Norman. Reef also suggests that he should kill his body as he will be revived again, but Kai doesn't agree with his suggestion and instead says that he is doing fine on his own. Kai later sets a trap to lure the insectoid Norman and manages to kill him by killing himself. Kai was revived again after some time. Kai is confused when he hears the beastly sound again, and when he has a discussion with Reef about that, the AI tells him that he heard that sound on the night they killed Norman. During this conversation, Reef reveals that Taryn is actually alive and may have escaped the moon. Kai feels betrayed to hear this information, but Reef says that he cannot give him any information if he is not asked the question. Kai is frustrated with Reef withholding the information, but he still searches for spare parts from the shuttle to upgrade Reef and give it a mobile frame. Kai takes the new robotic Reef with him as he goes on the expedition to find out information about Taryn. While exploring the cave, they find the two original bodies of Norman and himself merged into a sort of organism deeply embedded in the planet. There, Kai finally kills Norman and tries to kill himself, but he can't do so in a self-preservation effort. He finds that Taryn has left the planet with another escape pod. Meanwhile, Reef is grateful to Kai for upgrading him, so he illegally gives Kai access to confidential information, revealing that the moon is the subject of a relativistic time dilation experiment. He also finds that Hatch and Lang use this planet offensively against each other's forces. Surprisingly, Hatch lands on the moon, explaining the same scenario to Kai and saying that the 3 years Kai spends here were only 20 minutes for him in the real world. Hatch also reveals that he has captured Taryn and brings her out with her hands and feet tied. He demands the scientific data from Kai and threatens to kill Taryn if he refuses. Kai realizes that Hatch never intended for him to survive, and when Hatch admits that he attempted mass murder in pursuit of his goal, Kai refuses to give him the data. Kai first injured Hatch with a grenade initially embedded in his cybernetic foot and then killed him by transforming into the insectoid. After Hatch is dead, Taryn carefully approaches him and helps him calm down and transition back into his human form. The two then plan to work together to escape the moon, and instead of just saving Kai's father, they want to save everyone else. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to help the channel out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.